discuss a bill, they have to give you a price list. They cannot start a conversation unless there's a price list present. And you can go around shopping now. You can go around shopping and get price lists together and talk to the undertaker if they have time and see what's ahead of you. But go and look at property. Go look at what cemetery. You've been to many cemeteries. Which one did you like? You like that cemetery, you go there and you price it and you find out what you're going to need to do. And I would suggest that you buy it now. Don't wait. Because another example, where my mother's buried at, rest her soul, she's in Pine Lawn, one of your top cemeteries in the metropolitan area. The plot that she was in, we purchased years ago, which was $3,000 for burial of two. Now that same plot is almost $7,000, anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000, depending on what section you're in. And then also, some cemeteries, Pine Lawn being one of them, require you to purchase a liner. A liner in your grave prevents the dirt from caving in on the casket sooner than necessary. Don't let any funeral director tell you that that casket going in the ground is not going to eventually take on water, take on, and this is a shell. This is going to decay. It's going to decay. So, excuse me. I tell people, when you're buying a casket, and it's for show and tell, basically. Don't buy buy within your means. Don't try to buy something that costs $10,000. Don't buy something that you know as a Christian that the Spirit has left this vessel, this temple, and you're putting it in the ground. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're at anybody's funeral home. Don't buy above your means. We do that when we're living. I've done it many a times. I go buy something. No, I can't afford it, but I'm buying it. And people come to the funeral home and they do the same thing. When you go to the funeral home, never show your income or your money first. Always discuss what you want to do first. Then you show. Then wait until the undertaker says to you, now how do you plan to meet your bill? Then that's when you show your policy or your bank book or whatever you're going to use to pay the bill. A lot of funeral homes do not take insurance policies because insurance policies, and this is what people don't understand, insurance policies is a piece of paper to me. It's no good until maybe 4 weeks later. So now some insurance companies will pay you upon a death certificate. Well, it takes a second to get a death certificate. You can't get one right away. So that meantime, we're working with our funds now. So when you go to the bank to buy a car, buy a house, what do they charge you? Interest. So we have to, some kind of way, if you want me to use your insurance policy, I have to say to you, well, do you have money for your cemetery? Because I'm not going to pay for your cemetery $5,000. I can't do that. Most funeral homes will tell you, well, you have to go get some funds for the cemetery and we'll take the insurance policy for the funeral part. Does everybody understand that? Because that's something that people kind of like, they don't understand. Well, here's a policy. We paid on this policy all these years. Good, I'm glad you do have a policy. I'm very happy you have a policy. Now, we have to see if that policy is any good. Did anybody borrow on it? Are there any liens on it? Did somebody cash it in? Who's the beneficiary? That takes at least 72 hours to do that kind of work. So there's a lot of administration work in the funeral industry, and people wonder why. Well, my funeral fee is this. Well, what does that mean? What is your funeral fee? My funeral fee is that I've come to give you a service, and I do a service. I'm with you. I come to your home. I'm with you from beginning to end. Sometimes people think I'm part of the family. You see me so many times during the course I'm servicing you, because I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to know that we're here for you. So therefore, you need to start this planning while you're living. And in the non-black world, it's the most popular thing there is. It's called pre-finance, pre-planning, pre-arrangements. You pre-arrange your own funeral. You sit down with an undertaker, and that's a very old term to say undertaker. What do we call them now? Morticians, I think. So it shows how long I've been around, almost 50 years. So it behooves you. It's a form that you have. We sit with you, and you make sure the person or the funeral home has a license to do pre-needs. Everyone does not have that license. Years ago, funeral homes would do pre-needs, and you come back and you say, where's the money? And it's in my bank account, I spent it. But now the law requires you, there's certain papers that we have to fill out. It's a process. And within 30 days, you must receive something from the trust fund that the funeral home used and from the funeral director that your monies have been deposited. And believe it or not, these trust funds earn a lot of interest. You could do it at a bank. You could do it at a funeral home. So there's no excuse why you don't have to no longer do insurance policies if you don't want to. But if you do insurance policies, make them whole life. Whole life insurance policy. Don't let somebody tell you that you can do, what do you call those policies? Term. Term goes out in a couple of years, maybe 10 years, 15. Term is for business people. When you got to cover yourself for something, you need term insurance policies. Or you know you're going to be away from your family, you want to add on to your whole life policy, then you'll take a term policy out. There's reasons for term policies, okay? But a lot of times, you get with a good insurance company, you sit with the agent, and you now there's no excuse because you can Google anything. Google will tell you anything you want to know. Just ask them. Okay? So get information. Don't be afraid to ask questions. You've been to how many funerals in your lifetime? Many of them. So find out what goes on at these when you go behind the closed doors before you come out to present your loved one to the public. Now, there's direct burial, direct cremation. Key word here is direct, meaning that if you say to me, Dr. Sims, I want my loved one to go directly to the burial ground with the memorial service. Okay, we pick the person up from the hospital or wherever they were deceased at, and we take them directly to their burial ground. No embalming, no casket, no dressing, none of that. So this way now, you have a bill you can afford, okay? If we can directly bury your loved one, or we can directly cremate your loved one. And then afterwards, you come to the church, you have a regular service with posters, or we do screen shows. We have the televised thing going with your loved one. You give us pictures and we download them for you. There's so many ways you could do this now. You don't have to look at a dead body. Question.
The direct burial, is it with a sheet or something like the Jews without the embalming?
Right, you can, it's not anything. We just take them from where they are and we take them to no embalming or nothing. Just wherever, if I pick them up from Beth Israel or from Methodist Hospital, my plan is to go directly to the crematory.
Okay, I'm not talking about even the cremation, I'm talking about with
Burial.
a burial.
Right.
With a burial,
Same
without
way.
cremation.
Just like you are in the hospital, that's
Whatever
how you
you
go.
have, whatever you're, with your clothing, you just put into the ground.
When you pass away at the hospital, they wrap you.
Yeah,
They wrap you, okay, wrap you in a sheet.
So that's just what I take you to the, we put you in
No
appropriate
box?
black.
Oh, no box in the
Well, you can
Christ.
do a box. You could do a box. Some places require, most places require a box. Okay. Some places you could do it with what do you call this thing? An alternative container, which is like a box, but it's like a flake board. So you don't spend a lot of funds. Some people come and you don't have a lot of funds. So if you do the direct burial now, we need an appropriate box for you to put in. But it's a wood box. Mind you, nobody goes to the cemetery with us. All right? Some funeral homes bring the body in for immediate ID. What I do is I take a picture.
Yes.
I take a picture because I'm not going to cremate or bury anybody unless you tell me this is your loved one.
Right.
I don't care how many toe tags it has on the body or whatever. I want you to tell me that this is your loved one before I take it any place. So sometimes we'll bring the body in to let you see, okay? But you have to understand this cuts costs immensely, all right? And you remember your loved one like you knew them, okay? Another thing we do, we hold up a funeral for 3, 5, 7, like I just told you about this man I had for a whole month. We have to embalm the body, but embalming has never been required by law, never. We do it for sanitary reasons. We have a staff, the odor, whatever. We have to embalm you. If you're going to be with me if you're not going to do overnight, Sometimes we can wash, just like the